Little click every time you make the revolution. Okay. I can't
Go get this truck, I'll get you back.
So Paul, this is the engineer side. This is the throttle. This is the reverser, which controls forward and reverse, and it also controls the valve timing within those two extremes. So it has variable valve timing. And as you vary the valve timing, you get more or less steam into the cylinders, and that equates into how well the locomotive runs. This is the brake stand. So this is the train brake. This is the independent brake just for the locomotive if it's running light. Sanders, cylinder cocks, bell, and some various other things. You got a speedometer, you got a back pressure gauge, and a steam chest pressure gauge, which the engineer uses to judge the performance of the locomotive. Then you've got an air brake gauge here that tells you about the air brakes on the train. Down here, one of the two ways we put water in the locomotive, this quadrant controls the injector, which is the cold water injection into the boiler. The water level, you can tell there's two sight glasses, independently verifiable, that tells you where the water is. This is the fireman's side over here. You've got stoker jets, which is, I'll show you, blow the coal into the firebox. This is the stoker motor throttle. Individual jets down here, various gauges that the fireman uses. Up here in the corner is the feed water pump. The feed water pump is a warm water pump, so that when we're running, it's trickling warm water in at exactly the rate that we're evaporating it. Here's the beginnings of our fire for the day. It's just got a baby fire in it in the back two corners. We put it on the bank overnight, and I'm just now starting to wake it up. Eventually, this whole area that you see all the way to the front, about 9 feet, will be covered in fire. It has 93 square feet of grate area. It has almost 5,000 square feet of total heating surface. The fire is sitting on a series of grates. The grates are movable, so this lever allows me to unlock and shake the grates. All of the oxygen that's supporting the combustion of the fuel comes through the bottom of the fire bed. So manipulating the fire bed by shaking it lets it breathe. So all of this that you see, the fire and then the ash further up front, is sitting on this section of movable grates. So as I wake it up this morning, I'll shake it down to get it to breathe. And if you'll come right over here and point your camera in that corner, you'll see, I'm going to flip the lock up. And you'll see me begin to manipulate the fire. And you'll see as soon as I get oxygen, it brightens up. So it's breathing through the bottom of the fire bed. The ash falls into a hopper under the fire, into a fire pan under the fire, and then there's a big hopper, and we blow it out the bottom. So I'm raking the fire forward. I'll slowly expand the fire until it's clean the grates until it's completely clean. This is the stoker jets. So the fuel gets blown into the firebox with a jet of steam. So this controls the jets. This is the small and the large throttle for the stoker motor, which turns the screw. There's a screw, an Archimedes screw that goes back into the firebox, or into the tender, that brings the fuel forward, brings it up onto a firing cable, and it gets blown out into the firebox. So what we're doing is hand firing the locomotive right now, but in service, you use a stoker. It's got so much grade area and it's so large that a man can't hand fire.
Really all I want to do is I want to be able to operate and preserve these kind of locomotives and make them live on to another generation. I want to do this. I want to pass it down to my grandkids. Or my kids.
And you're learning from your grandfather.
Yeah, and I'm learning from one of the greats.
Probably going to rain all day from the looks of it. Looking at the future radar. Everything's going to be slick. Pay attention to your footing, where you're stepping. Don't slide off anything. Watch your steps in and out of school cars. 3 trips today, 9, 1:15, and 5:30. We'll probably try to break up the servicing, kind of really depending on what the work they have to come up with. Yeah. Not a good thing.
10 feet. 5, 3, 2. Keep her coming. That'll do. Give me a stretch. That'll do. Give me a 3-step.
3-step applied on the 765 for ground conductor. Seven 6.5 is cut out, ready for the
Four times in a row.
Alright, you guys ready?
Railroad, nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna meet you guys around deep water.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad we